All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to No Final Bell, episode 29. And yes, we are just doing one episode this week, as you know, we had the pay-per-view special as well as episode 28 last week. Well, this is just a one episode thing going this week at least. And to big shocking news, Kevin Owens did call out Stone Cold Steve Austin after everything that he said about Texans and Texas and all the other stuff. And Stone Cold was to give his announcement on Tuesday. We were recording on Monday, so basically almost a week ago. And to big surprise, Stone Cold Steve Austin accepted Kevin Owens' challenge at WrestleMania, even though a lot of people are saying it's going to be a segment. I think it's going to be a segment that's going to turn into a match.
That is possible.
So I really do think that it's going to be it's supposed to be the KO show with Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I think that we're going to see Stone Cold actually lace up the boots, because there was a lot of speculation that he is ready to open up a one last can of whoop ass. So I think this is going to lead into Stone Cold actually wrestling at WrestleMania 38. How do you feel? Do you think that after 16 long years, 19 long years, when he last wrestled at WrestleMania, do you think that he still has one last ass kicking, one last stunner in him to beat Kevin Owens at WrestleMania 38 in Dallas, Texas?
If you ask me, I feel like they should have just let Stone Cold, stay retired. He had the perfect send-off. You can't get any better of a send-off than that. Lost to The Rock, which is perfect for the story that they had for their trilogy of matches at WrestleMania. Both times prior, The Rock had lost to Steve Austin. So, for The Rock to actually get the victory over Stone Cold at WrestleMania, and for it to essentially be Stone Cold's final in-ring match, you can't have a better send-off to Stone Cold Steve Austin. However, if it is for one last hurrah match or whatever, I really hope it doesn't become a match. But at the same time, if you want to do just a quick little squash match for Stone Cold against Kevin Owens, then okay. But how much will that hurt Kevin Owens? It's probably going to hurt him a lot, to tell you the truth, because Kevin Owens really is riding a high wave of momentum right now, and even to just get the rub from Stone Cold in general, that's big in and of itself. But at the same time, it should only be a segment, if you ask me.
See, I know that everybody would like to see it as a segment, and yeah, it would derail Kevin Owens' momentum a big time. But the thing is that Stone Cold Steve Austin, there's been rumors going around of how that he wanted to, try to come back and wrestle and all that other stuff. And it was only a matter of time that it was going to happen. I'm pretty sure that Vince and Stone Cold Steve Austin were in high talks about it. Stone Cold wouldn't have accepted it if there wasn't something worked, into a plan where he was going to wrestle again. He would have said, no fat chance, I'm coming back, type of thing. He would have denied it and all the other stuff. So I'm kind of grateful to see Stone Cold come back in some capacity. Even if it was a plot to just, increase the sales because he's a big name wrestler, WWF Attitude Era wrestler, former world champion multiple times. in WWF. So it made a lot of sense to bring him back in the sense of, oh, well, we kind of need something for Kevin Owens. So let's see if we could draw in, the WWE Hall of Famer in Austin, Steve Austin there, and just increase sales. So that could probably be a lot of it too. But if you can bring back Stone Cold Steve Austin and have a stunner off with Kevin Owens of who has the better stunner, then who better than Stone Cold himself, who has been the perfecter of the stunner itself. So I think, like I said, it's going to be a segment that's going to turn into a match. Um, that's what I'm thinking. Enough. I guess we have enough talk about that. Let's lead into our normal side of the show here. We will talk about Impact and NWA, and then head into AEW for the week after. What a wonderful freaking pay-per-view of Revolution it
Yes.
was. So
We will start off with some NWA talk as, shockingly enough, the man himself, William Patrick Corgan, known to many as the lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins, but he is also the president of the National Wrestling Alliance, comes out to announce that the match between the OGK and the Fixers, first of all, is no longer going to be no disqualifications, but also is going to kick off the first round of the Crockett Cup. So, round one of the Crockett Cup, OGK and the Fixers win. Then we cut to the Pope, Elijah Burke, D'Angelo De Niro, call him what you will, but in this case, he is the Pope, and he makes his in-ring return to the NWA against Mike Knox, but Mike Knox puts a stop to his return. And then, in the main event of NWA Power, Anthony Mayweather steals the NWA National Championship away from Chris Adonis, becoming the new champion. That is it for NWA. Let's get into Impact Wrestling. Josh Alexander is back, but Honor No More brawls with Alexander and the rest of Team Impact, which prompts Scott D'Amore to come down and say, in the main event, we will get Rich Swann versus Eddie Edwards. But to start off the show, we get Willie Mack versus Kenny King. But also to take note, Team Impact and Honor No More banned from ringside the whole night. So,
crazy.
with that though, Willie Mack beats Kenny King. We cut back to the backstage area with Scott D'Amore and Moose. And Scott D'Amore hands Moose a manila envelope and says, hey, we got Josh Alexander to sign the contract for
Impact,
Rebellion,
yeah.
for the world title match. Now you need to. And if you don't sign, we are going to strip you of the world title. So Moose must sign the contract for a match at Rebellion for the world title against Josh Alexander. And if he doesn't, he gets stripped of the title. So, back to in-ring action, a triple threat match to determine who will be the first participant in another triple threat match at Rebellion for the X Division Championship. Ace Austin is the first participant, defeating Crazy Steve, and I believe it was also
I'm not too sure how else to help you out here.
It was Ace Austin and Crazy Steve against another competitor. I don't exactly remember, but regardless, Ace Austin is going to Rebellion to compete in a triple threat match for the X Division Championship. Also, Bhupinder Gujjar coming down. He still does not want anything to do with Raj Singh. So we will see what happens with that. However, Larry D seemingly has taken issue with the fact that He's not allowed at Impact when it's in his hometown of Louisville, Kentucky, but yet they have room for an up-and-comer Bhupinder Gujjar. And Larry D has a problem with Bhupinder Gujjar being the new guy and seemingly stealing his spot. So, then we get an an 8-woman knockout match. We have Mickie James, Chelsea Green, and The Inspiration versus The Influence, Tasha Steelz, and Savannah Evans. And Mickie James and co. get the win for their team. Also, we have a list of matches announced for next week. Motor City Machine Guns versus Bullet Club's Jay White and Chris Bay. Motor City Machine Guns are back, baby. Also, next week in the main event, Josh Alexander and Matt Taven. Triple threat match next week for the AAA Reina de Reinas and Ring of Honor women's titles between Deonna Purrazzo, Lady Frost, and Giselle Shaw. Also announced next week is Rhino versus Steve Macklin. And as I mentioned earlier, Rich Swann versus Eddie Edwards in the main event. Eddie Edwards beat Rich Swann. So, that is it for Impact and NWA talk, but on a more somber note, unfortunately, I just received the news that Scott Hall has unfortunately passed away.
Has he really?
Yes. So, if you've been following the news, unfortunately,
news because he suffered 3 heart attacks and
blood clots after complications due to hip replacement, and he was put on life support.
Yes.
He was to be taken off of life support once family was around him.
Yeah. As reported by Kevin Nash himself.
Yes. He was taken off of life support. He was breathing on his own for a little bit, but now, unfortunately, it has been announced that he has passed away. So,
yes,
our condolences to Scott Hall, his family, his friends, especially Cody. I can't imagine what Cody is going through on the road as a traveling wrestler. He's probably taking some time off to grieve for his fallen father. It's a very sad time right now in the wrestling world.
It's sad that it has to be his time. It really is. Bad guys.
Yeah.
What's the saying that he always says? That is going to be.
Where is it?
Bad times don't live forever, but bad guys do, or something like that, if I remember correctly. Scott Hall, you will always go down as one of the best intercontinental champions.
Yes, here is the quote.
Dreams come true. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
So rest in peace to Scott Hall. You will go down as one of the best Intercontinental Champions in WWE history. It does suck that the wrestling world has lost another fallen soldier. It really does. Rest in peace. God rest you. You're in a better place now, and you won't be suffering anymore. It just sucks. It sucks to have to go to that note and then go into Dynamite and Rampage, but taken away from us after 3 heart attacks at the age of 63. It's a sad day in history that Scott Hall has passed away March 14th, 2022 at the age of 63.
Already the wrestling world has lost a great.
Yes, they have. We're going to try to continue after that, but we are going to the AEW side of things after we heard about that news. So, Dynamite. Well, this is after, of course we heard about Impact after Sacrifice happened. Well, this is the Revolution fallout after for Dynamite and Rampage. Now Dynamite starts off tonight. We already know what happens. Chris Jericho lost to Eddie Kingston. I mean, not Eddie Edwards. Eddie Kingston.
Although Chris Jericho
And Chris Jericho didn't man up and give him the handshake he was wanting. Well, Chris Jericho, the last few days, is like, you know what? I'm going to make up for my wrong. I'm going to go out the Dynamite, and I'm going to shake Eddie Kingston's hand. So Dynamite starts off with Jericho coming out. Says that Eddie Kingston brought something out of him that he didn't know was still there, which is very truthful. We thought, Chris Jericho, he's kind of getting up there in age, kind of really hasn't been the same Chris Jericho we've seen. We've seen the edgier side of Chris Jericho in this match. Eddie Kingston really did bring something out of Chris Jericho that we thought, is it really still there? Can he still be Y2J? Can he still be Chris Jericho and go out there and put together a really good match? That was proven. Yes, he can still go out there and put together bangers of matches at the age of like 52, I want to say. 51, 52.
He's getting up there in age regardless.
Says he was wrong for not keeping up on his part and wants to make it up to him, which didn't happen at Revolution. Chris, what the hell, man? You said, well, if you beat me, you earn my respect and you get the handshake. You didn't do that Revolution. Which prompts Eddie to said, you got in my head. I didn't want to show up on Rampage. I wanted to go out and drink my pain and sorrow away. Forget about the past. But after fans said that they didn't want to end it all, and I give a lot of respect that Eddie Kingston helped make people not want to end their lives because of what things he said. I think it was in a book or like a documentary or something like that. I can't exactly remember what he said, but didn't want to end it all because of him and wanted to wrestle because of them and no one else. I give a lot of respect to Eddie Kingston because in this promo, and he's not big on talking. He said it before. He doesn't like to talk. He likes to wrestle. But after that heartfelt promo that he had with Chris Jericho, you almost I hate to say it, I almost this is really making people want to back up Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston, the way that AEW is making Eddie Kingston into right now is making you want him to have bigger and better things coming for him.
Yes.
So I'm all for it. I'm glad that Eddie Kingston wasn't doing it for him. He wasn't doing it for Chris. He was doing it for the people that didn't end their lives because of
a lot of respect for Eddie Kingston.
And I give him a lot of respect for that. Says Chris proved him wrong because he showed he's still number one, which Chris Jericho, he pretty much did help solidify AEW. He was literally
the
top
number one guy.
And we're building around Chris Jericho, which is very truthful. That is exactly what happened when AEW first started. You had Chris Jericho, and then you had a bunch of guys that weren't there yet. Chris helped solidify the start of AEW, and that's why if you beat Chris Jericho, you know that you are
you have won the big one.
You won the big one. So then Chris and Eddie shake hands. We finally get to see Chris Jericho, man up and give Eddie Kingston the handshake he deserves. He gave him the respect he deserves after that, which prompts 2.0 and Daniel Garcia to come out and beat down at Chris and Eddie. You're thinking, really? After all that, 2.0 and Eddie King and Daniel Garcia are going to get involved with Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho? You think, wait, we've seen this before. Are Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho, are they going to team up to face 2.0 and Daniel Garcia? Maybe in a 2-on-3 type of thing. Well, we were sadly mistaken. They get beat down, but then Pride and Powerful come out to save Chris and Eddie. We thought, oh, all right, maybe we can see something, happening where,
it's going to be an internal battle.
And what does Chris Jericho do? He gets that bat and beats down on Pride and Powerful. What the hell, Chris? What are you doing? Why are you turning heel? We kind of figured there might have been a heel turn happening at Revolution because he didn't at first shake Eddie Kingston's hand. So, and then...
Come on, Belly. She's going to bother us all right if we don't. All right, go. Hey, you better be going potty. Hey, go potty. No bark. Go potty. Hey, go potty. Bella. Hey, come on. Bella, go potty. No bark. Bella. Bella. Come on. Bella, get in here now. Come on. Come on. Come on. Get in here. Come on. Come on, Bella. Bella. Come on.
Can you imagine? Yeah, two-time WWE Hall of Famer. That's right, with NWO.
Yeah, NWO and Razor Ramon. All right. Oh, have we been recording?
Have we? Sorry about all that dead air. We had to let the dog out. Thought we paused it, but we did not. So I guess we'll just continue going forward. Well, so Jake Hager comes out, and we see the start of a new faction called the Jericho Appreciation Society, which they already have brand new shirts out for it. It literally looks like you came straight out of college, like yeah, like honor society type of thing. That's what it kind of looks like. But Hager puts up Eddie Kingston where he struggles to bring him up, but 2.0 help him out. Throws him, power bombs him, or yeah, power bombs him through the table where it looked really, really bad. Like hit the back of the head onto the table and everything, which Dave Meltzer has reported that he's all right.
But how much do we really believe Meltzer?
Yeah, I was about to say after everything with William Regal and whatnot with his health
Yeah.
problems, yeah, probably not. But as far as that goes, I'm just grateful he is at least all right.
Yeah.
That did look pretty scary.
Who's to
But
say Meltzer isn't lying with this story?
I don't think he's lying with the story. I mean,
But the Regal story was way out of line.
oh yeah, way out of line. I mean, like it just makes you think that like because you're
Yeah, you're a wrestling journalist.
you're a
that you know
journalist,
everything.
how do you not know about William Regal's past situations? Like he looks like he's in the best health of his career right then and there. So I hate to say it, I mean he's not like walking out there with a freaking cane or a walker. I mean he's actually out there walking on his own and all the other stuff. So and he's out there every single week with Moxley and Danielson. So I'm just, it's weird to see this new faction. I think there's going to be something that's going to be coming out of it. I mean, this Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho rivalry isn't over and done and over with yet, but I'm hoping for bigger, better things between both Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho, which is going to probably lead into a faction versus faction thing. And I'm thinking, and I'm going to say here now, I'm really thinking that LAX is going to be full on against the Jericho Appreciation Society because you got your 5 men on Jericho's side, but right now you kind of technically only have 3 on Eddie Kingston's side. So who's to say that he doesn't call up his OG gang in Homicide and Hernandez and form the LAX in AEW? I don't know if it would be exactly LAX, but it'd be all the former members of LAX. So I think you're going to get Latin American Express in AEW.
Latin American Exchange, yeah.
And I honestly, who's to say they can't exactly change it to the Express so that it's not copywriting anything with Impact there. So
I mean, it's entirely possible because I do believe Impact has the trademark for LAX, like Latin American Exchange.
yeah. So I think they can find ways around it, kind of like with Trent Beretta. It's not exactly Trent Beretta. It's like a different spelling of Trent Beretta, but if you hear it, it sounds and pronounced almost exactly the same way.
Exactly the same way, except that's pretty much the loophole that they found to not.
So who is to say they can't find a loophole with calling them the Latin American
like Express?
Yeah, exactly. So honestly, I think that's probably what it's going to go on. I could be shocked. I've been shocked before on AEW. Every time I come up with some crazy idea, then they're like, whoop, you thought. So, going forward, we saw exactly what happened, and we knew what was going to happen. CM Punk whooped the ass at Revolution.
Yeah.
Literally made MGF bleed his own blood, and I want to see he rearrange his face where his mama couldn't, recognize him anymore. But he said that if anybody wants that old CM Punk back, that they should think twice. Thoughts? After that match, yeah, I would think that I would be scared to call out the old CM Punk.
Yeah, I don't know if we truly want the Second City Saint once again, because that's exactly what he brought to that fight against MJF at Revolution. He brought out the Second City Saint, and trust me, you don't want the Second City Saint.
I
Because, trust me, CM Punk has had many different, levels of his career. He was the Second City Saint in Ring of Honor. He was the straight edge superstar in, WWE CW. He was the voice of the voiceless when he, towards the end of his run. And then, okay, no. He was the best in the world in, 2000. Okay. So, towards the beginning of his WWE career, he was like, he was still kind of that Second City Saint, but not quite. Um, 2011, best in the world, and then around 2012 to 14, he was the voice of the voiceless. So, and now here he is as a mixture of all three.
right, and
So,
who's to say that CM Punk can eventually get that world title opportunity soon after it. But speaking of the world title, Adam Hangman Page puts it on the line against the number 2 ranked Dante Martin, which was kind of shocking that Dante just got that opportunity just out of nowhere. I mean, which also, yeah, Adam Hangman Page, it was a decently back and forth, but the way that it ended was interesting because Adam Hangman Page, Dante was on the top rope. Hangman Page pushes him aside. He goes in, gives him the buckshot lariat, and literally flips him in half, and then pins him 1, 2, 3. Retains the title, and says that Dante has earned a right to face off against him. If he gets there again, we want to do it again. Which honestly, very well, Dante Martin I think would deserve a second opportunity if he was to work his ass off and get there again. Because after with a year of his brother being absent, he's made a name out of himself out of being a singles competitor. Not the best tracker record in the world, but enough to his stock to rise there. But it then prompts Adam Cole to come out and saying, "Oh, won't you please shut the hell up?" Saying that he got a fluke victory over him at Revolution.
it very well could be.
I mean, unfortunately, we can't really back that up because we really didn't watch the whole match because it cut out on us because we were severely behind on Revolution when we were watching it. So we didn't really get to see the main event match. Unfortunately, we don't know.
Or at least we didn't get to see the finish.
We didn't get to see the finish of the match, which sucks. We got to see a little bit of the match, but we didn't see how exactly he won, even though he did win off of the buckshot lariat. So we don't know if it was exactly a fluke or not. So it vows the next time they face off that he won't get lucky this time. It's tough to tell. I think that eventually that these two men are going to face off against each other in a rematch for the AEW World Heavyweight title, where I don't know if Adam Cole's going to win it. I think it's just going to be another matchup. I think we will see another opponent for Adam Hangman Page. As far as right now, who it could be, I think the one that would make the most sense is probably CM Punk. I don't think it's going to be Wardlow as of right now because Wardlow is going to be tied into MJF with that whole storyline going into Double or Nothing. So
It's
I don't
entirely
think.
possible.
But what we will get next week or later tonight is a 6-man tag team match.
A trios match.
Where Cole says you can choose any of your two goons, and I got a couple of young guys that I can choose up with, which made me prompt up to think, was he gonna choose the Young Bucks against Adam Hangman Page and the Hardys? But we'll continue talking about it. As of right now, that's what it kind of seemed like to me. But Moxley and Danielson beat the Workhorsemen via submission, which then prompts William Regal to say that any team that goes up against Moxley and Danielson will either have to step up or get stepped on. A lot of talk for a manager that is backing up probably one of the better tag teams of right now.
Yeah. Now, let's not fail to mention though that Regal kind of went a little like, you
Oh,
know,
yeah, and you can kind of tell that the rest of the show had to get sped up just a little bit
yes,
because
he
of.
did kind of go over his allotted time, and even then, he has since gone on to apologize because he's a professional. And
But can we give Tony Khan, or Tony Schiavone,
oh
a
yes,
lot of flack because he's
he
looking
was
at his
looking at his
watch,
watch.
getting very antsy, like, hey, kind of speed this crap up as much as you can. Where if you're William Regal, you wouldn't have gone into that story if you actually knew the kind of allotted time you had. You would probably would have said, these two men, I've followed their careers the whole time, but just know if you are going to face off against them, you either have to, step up or get stepped on. End it right there.
Yeah,
That's all you have to say. You don't
right.
have to go into full detail. You're just going to say, like, I know these men, since, pretty much followed their whole entire careers. You know, I've been, intertwined with them no matter where I was. But just know, as a tag team, now that they're together, you either have to step up or get stepped on. And just end it there, because it's short and simple to the point, and it brings a lot of impact to the thing. And then you would have had enough time to not have to rush the rest of the night. So there goes that. Orange Cassidy unfortunately got hurt because of Keith Lee, and we hope that he comes back better than ever. Please, Orange. It sucks that you got hurt in that match because you
Yeah,
got fucking yeeted by
yeah. He
Keith Lee. You got thrown, man. But I'm hoping that you're gonna be coming out better than ever in this match. So we go into the next match. Pac beats Wheeler Yuta. I mean, it wasn't really Wheeler Yuta. I mean, he's good to a point, but he's literally just there to look good
yeah.
against these big name, these other wrestlers that are trying to go up. Um, but man, I'm just saying, Pac, and I hate to say it, they can do as much as they can, but eventually we will probably be seeing the House of Black against the Death Triangle very soon, as we wish another man there a speedy comeback,
Ray Phoenix.
Ray Phoenix,
Yeah,
which sources are probably. I'm probably thinking that he's going to be coming back pretty soon.
that's the hope.
I'm pretty sure. I think I want to say, if I remember correctly, he should be coming back pretty soon. So
Either way, he's that dislocated elbow looked just awful.
yeah, I did.
So, and it's definitely not going to be easy to realign essentially what went out of place when his arm went essentially like
Right.
so.
So going forward, Adam Cole says he wasn't going to choose the Young Bucks, but going to choose his Poison Red Dragon instead. Thoughts? I hate to say it, I really do. They really are teasing a uh, um thing between Young Bucks and Red Dragon. You know, I don't know how far off Kenny Omega is from returning, because we did see Don Callis at Revolution, so I don't think it's very far off that we're gonna see Kenny Omega coming back into AEW very soon. But the thing is, when Kenny Omega comes back, is the Young Bucks gonna align with him again? One. And two, is it gonna lead into a 6-man tag team match between Adam Cole and Red Dragon, and then Young Bucks and Kenny Omega? Because if it does, that'd be something to watch. Because
Yeah,
honestly, Adam Cole didn't want to be between Red Dragon and the Young Bucks, but I feel like he kind of chose his side there. He kind of left Young Bucks hanging in the dust. So, very interesting to see. Could you imagine if somehow the Jurassic Express get beaten down, and somehow the Young Bucks align with Adam Hangman Page against Adam Cole and Red Dragon? Now that would be interesting to see.
That would be
That would be
interesting.
interesting to see. I could see something like that. I thought it would be the Hardys, but now that I think this over, Young Bucks teaming up with Adam Hangman Page against Adam Cole and Red Dragon makes a little bit more sense in this in the fact that with everything else that's been going on and the whole thing of, well, they're not, they're my friends more than they've been your friends. I can
Yeah,
see it being where, okay, that's what you think, and then he ends up coming out with the Young Bucks.
yeah. I mean,
Who's to say Red Dragon doesn't take out Jurassic Express?
that is true.
I honestly could see it happening. I really could. So I think that's what's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna be truly Red Dragon and Adam Cole against Jurassic Express and Adam Hangman Page. I think it's gonna be Red Dragon beating down Jurassic Express early in their match, because I think this match will be probably later in the show, if not the main event. I think early in the show you're gonna see Jurassic Express getting beaten down, and then Adam Hangman Page is like, well, and then they're gonna be like, well, you don't have any tag team, you don't have any partners for this match because you got taken out. Oh, don't worry, I got somebody. You'll find out. And then
And
who's
then
to
next thing you
say?
know, super kick, party, Young Bucks.
I think it's gonna lead into a Young Bucks face turn, because that's kind of like what they're leaning towards. So it would be nice. So very interesting next segment here that's happened. FTR says it's all about family, but Tully Blanchard is not part of it, and he is getting fired by FTR. Wow. Wow. Tully Blanchard is no more with FTR. Marty, what, like, are you shocked and awed about that?
Absolutely, because Tully Blanchard was a pivotal part in FTR's success in AEW, and now for FTR to just toss him to the wayside, it's like they've got to have big plans in store for FTR now.
Right. I think so. I would hope that FTR is going to do something big after getting rid of Tully Blanchard, but as of right now, I don't know if that's like the best move for FTR going forward, especially if they want to win the AEW World Tag Team titles, because Blanchard's like, fuck, who cares about this whole family aspect? You came here to win championships. He's like, well, it is about family, and you're not part of it. So
Yeah.
it's interesting to see. Will Blanchard align himself with somebody else?
It's possible.
It wouldn't shock me.
He could go back with Shawn Spears. After all, they never truly.
Oh, that's true. That is very true.
Ended their relationship there.
So going forward, Andrade, Private Party, and Jose are out there with Matt Hardy and the Butcher and the Blade. They had that town hall meeting basically. Matt Hardy's like, don't trust this Andrade guy. If you want me in, give me a thumbs up. If you want me gone, give me a thumbs down, showing I'm fired. Well, it prompts Andrade and Jose to vote first and go thumbs down. Where Private Party had
their hands up.
Which we thought, okay, they didn't.
Then they pulled that Batista and did the thumbs down.
And then start beating him after the match, which prompts Sting and Darby to get involved and help out Matt Hardy. But they get beaten down. Holy shit, everybody! Jeffrey Nero Hardy is all elite. He finally makes his debut, and I don't know if I can tell you I told you so, but I told you so! I told you so! I knew he was going to show up on AEW March 9th edition of AEW Dynamite, because his contract was up with WWE. It was, all but confirmed by Jeff Hardy himself that he was going to AEW, and what better way than having him debut on a day that he got officially released by WWE. because his contract was no more. His contract was up, and eventually, on the day that his contract was up, signed
If
with
90 days was done.
AEW.
Yeah. That 90 days went by quick.
To start saving him. Now, I didn't write this down, but is this going to lead into the Andrade family office against Jeff Hardy, Sting, and Darby? The Hardys against Sting and Darby?
It's possible.
I really do think that
There's
that's
a
possible.
list of opportunities with the Hardys now. There's a list of opportunities.
I mean, there's a lot of people in the Andrade family office still. There's Andrade, there's Butcher and Blade, and there's... But honestly, I think it might be... But, like, if you were to choose, because it's 4 against 4, do you add somebody else with the Hardys and Sting and Darby to go against the Andrade family office? I mean, I don't know who else would be there, but I think that's going to lead into an 8-man tag team match. So, I guess the real question is, do we see an 8-man tag team match between the Hardys and Sting and Darby against the Andrade family office? And I think yes, we do. I don't know exactly when it'll be, but we will see it sometime soon.
Yeah.
Going forward, Wardlow says that people will have to forgive him with associating himself with MGF, and went into pro wrestling to support his mom and family, which I gotta give Wardlow a lot of credit there. He basically had nothing and went to pro wrestling to support his mom, who had to do everything she could to get him through, life. But does thank MGF for changing his life, but feels disrespected by helping him out, and doesn't give a damn if he is under contract with him, and says he's finally free. Yeah, he is under contract still with MGF, but doesn't mean that it won't prompt him to possibly beat Scorpio Sky later tonight for the TNT Championship. And, lead into an MGF versus Wardlow match for the TNT Championship. As much as I would hate to see Scorpio Sky, we'll talk about that one later. But as far as Wardlow, we talked about it before, where, depending on what happens, we think that he's going to win on St. Paddy's Day Slam. So, going forward, Jurassic Express beats the Acclaimed to retain their tag team titles. I mean, didn't we not see this before? We saw this on Dynamite before. We saw this on Dynamite before Revolution in Jacksonville, Florida. So, makes you think, why? Like, I'm not wrong, am I? Like, I'm pretty sure they put the tag team titles on the line against the Acclaimed for the tag team titles on the go-home show to Revolution in Jacksonville, Florida, Daly's place. If I'm wrong, please somebody let me know, because I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
If not that show, then it was definitely on.
It was definitely recently.
Yeah.
Actually, it might have been on Rampage. I think it was on Rampage. It was on a recent Rampage.
Yeah.
Then prompts Jade Cargill to go and ask, who's next? And then Mark Stern is like, better question, who's left? And asking who's ready to step up and get the kiss of death. Thoughts? Athena? Maybe? Did she make her AEW debut? And step up and take that challenge with... Or do we think, there might be somebody different?
Well, either way, Jade Cargill mentioning a kiss of death, it's kind of interesting because her Revolution attire was based on Jade from Mortal Kombat, who does not do the kiss of death. That's Sonya Blade's thing. So, how can you be Jade Cargill if how can you have the kiss of death and have your name be Jade Cargill if you're not actually like Jade?
No idea, honestly. So,
I mean, unless she comes out with like a Sonya Blade inspired attire next, which wouldn't make
Honestly,
a lot of
as
sense.
far as right now, who could be Jake Cargill's next opponent, I have no idea, honestly. I really do not know who could be, honestly, next or who's left.
Who knows? Maybe they could get Kiera Hogan.
Um,
Maybe they could even get Diamante. Like, there's still some like
I'm thinking
potential
eventually,
competitors.
I'm thinking eventually it could be Paige Van Sant, even though she's still kind of new. I think that's
I did not
eventually
even
what's
think
going.
about her.
Eventually, that's who I think. Which we will get to that very
But who's to
soon.
say they couldn't also bring in somebody from like NWA or something like that?
Who the hell knows? Thunder Rosa, to no surprise, beats legit Layla Hirsch and will face Britt Baker in a steel cage match in her hometown. Thoughts? I hate to say it, she's gonna win. She's gonna beat Britt Baker in her hometown of
Which almost kind
San
of
Antonio,
defeats
Texas.
it almost kind of defeats the whole reason why they had her lose at Revolution.
Yes and no. I mean, you finally get a steel cage match where Britt won't be able to have any of her goons getting involved unless they climb into the steel cage.
Well, that's what the cage is meant for, is to keep away outside interference, but we all know how these things work. They always find a way to get inside the cage, whether
Yeah,
it be through
so
the door or climbing the top.
and I said that outside um of the show before to Marty saying, well, if she does beat Britt Baker in her hometown, it makes you beg to differ. Why didn't she just not get the victory at Revolution? Maybe because they knew, well, it would be probably bigger in a steel cage match in front of her hometown crowd. Which,
I
yes,
still
it
personally
would
don't
have been,
understand that.
but you look at it this way, like you could have had a steel cage match at Revolution
Yeah.
for the title, which would have made a little bit more sense. But you know what? They just wanted to stack up the card as much as they could for St. Patty's Day Slam, which is fine by me. Do what you want, AEW, because you haven't disappointed ever since the fallout of Revolution right now. Because
Yeah.
they're on a nice road right now. 2
Well,
weeks in.
not to mention last year's St. Patrick's Day Slam also saw Thunder Rosa and Dr. Britt Baker.
Yeah, it was
So
a
who's
year
to say
ago.
this time,
Last year at St. Patty's Day Slam, where they had their lights out match, the very
Yeah.
brutal lights out match
Yes, it
that
was.
saw Britt Baker break her nose or something like that, and
no,
or
that was
busted
different.
open. Yeah,
Busted
busted open Britt Baker. So I
But
think
also, even though it didn't count in the record book, Dr. Britt Baker beat Thunder Rosa. Who's to say the outcome will be different this time around?
oh yeah, it will be different this time around. We are finally going to see Thunder Rosa as the AEW Women's World Champion, which I think is very well deserved.
And also, in my opinion, long overdue.
Yeah, very long overdue.
But
Another thing that might have been very long overdue, Scorpio Sky finally wins his first singles championship and beat Sammy Guevara to win his very first singles title as the TNT champion. Man, crazy. Crazy the way that match went. We thought Sammy had to forfeit the title because already, even before he got pinned, because he took a pretty bad landing after that
630
senton off of the top rope into the
table on the outside.
table, which prompted Ty Conti to come out and check up on her boyfriend there. Yes, they are really dating in real life. If you really want to wonder what the hell happened to Pam, well, Pam and him broke
didn't
up,
work out.
and now Ty Conti and Sammy Guevara are now dating. So, before you come in here and be like, well, what the hell happened to his fiance? Well, they're no more. But Sammy looks like to be all right, but loses in the outcome of the match off of the TKO from Scorpio Sky, and finally gets the big one and wins the TNT Championship. I'm sure Dan Lambert's very happy that he won. But I hate to say it, it's not going to last very long, as he's going to be, fortunately, a transitional champion.
Yeah.
And having Wardlow win. It sucks because I think Scorpio Sky does deserve to have a lengthy TNT title match. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Who's to say they don't swerve us and be like, well, y'all thought that it's gonna be Warlow, and then it ends up
But that
being
wouldn't make any sense if they were to do that.
no. It
So
probably wouldn't, but honestly, I hate to say it, Scorpio Sky. At least you won it. I mean, you won it
yeah,
clean. You can't say that you weren't a TNT champion and won it,
right.
but I hate to say it, it's not going to be for very long because I would hope that soon that the men of the year can get an opportunity at the tag team titles, and who's to say that they can't? So going forward, Paige Van Zant finally signs her contract in the ring as she is now all elite, and could her first opponent be Ty Conti?
Very
Oh,
possible.
I think so. After everything that happened there with
Yeah,
an exchange
the
there.
way that they went off the air for Dynamite seemingly indicates that they're gearing towards a Ty Conti and Paige Van Zant feud in AEW.
Oh yeah, I think so. It wouldn't shock me. Um, Darby Allin beats Mark Quinn in AFO, comes down and the Hardys come out to eat. Oh, well, actually, we are into the Rampage side of things before I continue. Darby Allin does beat Mark Quinn, and the AFO comes down, and then the Hardys come out to even odds. Will this lead to anything? Well, we kind of specified that, yeah, I think it will lead to, you know, both the Hardys and Sting and Darby versus the AFO. So I don't think I'm going to go into very much detail about that. Then going forward, Scorpio vows to keep his undefeated streak alive against Wardlow. Says that he's not going to be a transitional champion. Thoughts? Not going to happen. I hate to
No.
say it, Scorpio. Your
You're
run
just
as the
trying to
champ.
keep up some marketing value for yourself, which is not going to work.
Yeah, exactly. So going forward, Jamie Hayter beats Mercedes Martinez, and then was going to get beaten down by Thunder Rosa. Getting beaten down, but Thunder Rosa comes out to save her. Are we going to see um, Are we going to see Mercedes Martinez and Thunder Rosa against Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker in some way? Maybe I mean I know that they're leading more into like the whole Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker and stuff like that, but are we going to legit see some kind of tag team match with Jamie Hayter and Britt versus Mercedes and Thunder Rosa? I mean we kind of already have seen it, but they really are continuing this feud between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, which makes you think, is Thunder Rosa really going to seriously get this win over Britt Baker at St. Patrick's Day Slam, or are they going to continue this rivalry and head it into Double or Nothing? Like, it makes you
I don't
wonder.
know. I mean, there's the way that they're going. Makes it seem like the ultimate payoff is going to be Thunder Rosa winning the AEW Women's World Title in her hometown
Yeah,
in that steel cage.
oh yeah, I think so
But
too.
they could throw a curveball at us and continue the program until Double or Nothing
They very well could. I mean, it wouldn't shock
in
me.
Las Vegas, by the way.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be in Daly's place. It's or yeah, in Daly's place, or just the Jaguars Stadium in general. But no, it is going to be in Las Vegas in the T-Mobile Arena, which it makes you wonder. Well, Double or Nothing the last few years they've had Stadium Stampede, but those last few years have also been
In Daly's place.
um because of the whole pandemic and everything, so they had to throw in some curveballs. The last two have been um Stadium Stampedes and stuff like that. And I think the last two Double or Nothings were without fans too. So,
No, the last Double or Nothing was with fans at a full
oh,
capacity,
oh,
but 2020 was the first one without fans.
yeah, they're finally back where it all started in Las Vegas. So it sucks because I don't think you can really have that Stadium Stampede. But T-Mobile Arena is technically um where the Las Vegas Golden Knights play. So maybe a arena stampede match. I don't know.
I don't know if it would really be the same
Or
kind of
maybe you just
feel.
have blood and guts there. I don't know. I mean, could be big enough. I mean, Who the hell knows? But moving forward, Keith Lee beats QT and then beats down the Factory after the match, and then Team Taz comes down to beat down on Keith Lee, and Powerhouse Hobbs gives Keith Lee a spine bust. What does that mean going forward? I think it means that Keith Lee is not done with Team Taz yet.
No. And who's to say somebody can't come out of the waterworks to team up with Keith Lee? Somebody who knows Team Taz well enough.
And who do you think that is?
He's not a man. He's a machine.
That'd be something. Because honestly, it would mean that you've had some kind of work for Brian Cage. So I would like to see it happening because you haven't seen Brian Cage on wrestling in a really, really long time. I know his relationship is probably with AEW right now is probably not the best, but at least it would mean something. I hope it would just, I would love to see him away from the whole Team Taz thing, but at least it's something for him to do. But we finally get to see Swerve Strickland make his AEW debut and beat Tony Nese and beat him yet again on another Friday, even though technically it was a Wednesday, but you don't have to know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Tony Nese loses the Swerve Strickland yet again, just like old times. But this will conclude this episode of No Final Bell. Make sure to follow us on Tinkle Sports Entertainment and follow us on social media at Tinkle Sports. Well, we are. This show is every Wednesday at 5.
It's right.
Sunday morning
there.
Tinkle is every Sunday at 9 a.m. and Out of Turn 4 is every Tuesday at 5. So please make sure to watch and follow all those, and we will see you in the next episode. See you later.